All right, last night the House of Representatives passed a resolution to officially create a committee to investigate Benghazi. All Republicans voted for it. 7 Democrats broke with their party and voted yes. Now, the members of that select committee expected to be announced today, and those are the 7 Democrats. Now the question, will those 186 Democrats who voted against it stage a boycott, or will they put 5 people up to be part of the 12-person force? Let's ask one of the representatives, Jerry Connolly, kind enough to join us this morning from Virginia. Congressman, you voted against having it, but now that you have it, it's here. Where do you stand? What's going to be your sense this morning when you meet with other Democrats on whether they should participate in this?
Thanks for having me, Brian. Yeah, I did vote against it because I don't know that we need a select committee. We've had 4 committees in the House and other committees in the Senate looking at Benghazi since the tragedy occurred. But I think the answer to your question is frankly going to be 2 things. One is what happens in our caucus in terms of the nature of the discussion and where we're going to head. And the second is the rules of engagement. What kind of procedures are going to be in place to ensure minority rights, that we have equitable representation in the deliberations and in the decision-making of such a select panel.
So you want to make sure you have enough time to ask the questions of whatever witnesses are forward. You want lead time on who those witnesses are. You want access to the pre-interviews prior to their testimony. Are these the type of things that would get you into the game?
Those are some of them, yes, Brian. I would add to that, though, strict rules of engagement in terms of fair play. So we get to have our witnesses as well. We are consulted with and have some say over the issuance of subpoenas. I'm on the Oversight and Government Reform Committee, and frankly, those minority rights have been completely trampled over. And if that's the experience, there's no way Democrats want to repeat that with a select committee.
Now, Elijah Cummings and Henry Waxman, one of those Elijah Cummings on the Oversight Committee, and one of the people I understand pushing to make Democrats participate in this. And he's a guy we always see next to Darrell Issa, sometimes in a contentious way. So that would indicate maybe that that's something you guys should do.
Obviously, we have to weigh very carefully whether we're at the table or not at the table. The Republicans have clearly pretty much on a party line vote. You have emphasized 7 Democrats, but that's pretty much a party line vote. But they created a select committee in rather rushed fashion. The question is, are we better off being at the table to try to make sure it's a balanced approach? And that will be determined at our caucus meeting this morning.
And we'll get an answer today. And thanks so much for previewing that. Now let's ask you about the IRS investigation. Now, Lois Lerner is held in contempt. 6 Democrats voted in favor of contempt and 26 in favor of a special counsel to investigate it. When she stood up and took the fifth about targeting Tea Party groups, you knew something was going to happen. Where do you stand on this?
Well, I think actually conservatives need to be concerned about the issue of Fifth Amendment rights. The Fifth Amendment was there not for angels, but to protect all American citizens, innocent and guilty alike, from self-incrimination. It is one of only 10 enumerated rights in the Bill of Rights. And we have to take that very, very seriously. I think case law, no matter what you think of Lois Lerner, case law is very clear here. She did not waive her Fifth Amendment right, even though we'd like to get her testimony.
Even though she made those statements prior, you don't feel that way. But as an American, does it bother you?
No, it's not a matter of how I feel. It's a matter of case law addressing exactly that example.
Okay. Having said that, as an American, does it bother you in 2013-14, I don't care who's in power, that the IRS is using their power, perhaps, to target any group? And I thought this would be one time in which Democrats and Republicans were equally outraged.
Well, actually, when we began this process, we were. Unfortunately, the Republican majority then took it off to try to make it a political, a partisan political effort to try to damage the president. It didn't work. The president got reelected. Yeah, we don't want to see the IRS. I mean, we're the ones who didn't like it when Nixon used it.
Right. All right. Hey, Congressman, always great to talk to you. Thanks so much.
Likewise.
Hopefully we'll get something positive out of today's meeting. Meanwhile, coming up straight ahead, they helped